Good morning, it's Laura here, and it's Friday, so we're back with another weekly home organizational video. And it's April, so it's also tax time. We all love to hear about tax time. So I brought in a special guest with me today, and this is Carrie Jones from TC Jones Accounting. And we are going to be talking about ways to get organized for tax time. So Carrie's been really gracious in coming in and coming online to give us some information on how to get organized. So because what happens is often, like, our taxes are due, what, April 30th?
April 30th, you
right?
need to be filing.
We need to be filed by. So if it comes to that time and we need to have our information, and if we have no idea where to find it or where it is, it's going to be difficult, right?
I say it's like a big puzzle, and all year you're getting all the puzzle pieces, and you need it like 4 months later, and you don't know where all the puzzle pieces are. So if you have a place to put everything, it's going to help put the puzzle together.
It's going to help make it a lot easier if you need to find information. So we're just going to talk about a few ways. And as we're going along, if you have any questions about how to organize your taxes and stuff, we're not talking about taxes and deductions and all that kind of thing, because everything we said is case by case, right?
Everybody has different scenarios, and you can't say that one thing fits all scenarios. So there's lots of online resources for that, or you talk to your accountant for that. But your accountant can do a better job if you have all the pieces of the puzzle.
Right, because they can't do it or make it your best tax return for you. Right?
Your best return and your best package and your best refund will come when you have all the things that are legitimate.
Okay, so let's talk about a few ways of storing information. So Carrie has a really cool way, and you want to explain to us? And it's really simple, and that's what I love. And she's an accountant, right?
Yes.
And I love this system.
But it doesn't have to be complicated. You don't need some file boxes from Staples. You don't need a big old labeling system and all of that. That can work. Some people are really wired that way. But most people just need a place to put something. So Ziploc bags, having them handy, and you just label them. I have 2019, 2018 on here, and it's a place to drop them. So when you're cleaning out your purse, you're saying, oh, this is a grocery receipt. I don't need that. Has nothing to do with my small business, has nothing to do with my maybe a donation I made. Don't need to keep that. But I think I might need this, and so I'm going to stick it in here. You might not know if you need it or not. Keep it anyway.
Even if you don't know, keep it. So you're saying all throughout the year, you toss things into your Ziploc bag, and then you don't even deal with it until tax time.
Not necessarily. Right? Yeah, that I don't need to deal with it. I have a rental property, so I know that every time I go and buy towels for that rental property, or I do something with that, I don't have to need to keep an Excel spreadsheet too detailed. I know that I can sit down and tally all of those if I have the receipts at the end of the year.
If you have it.
And so having a place to put them is great. We also have a business. So when we are going out for dinner with clients, or we're filling up the company gas, the car, my husband's coming home and emptying his wallet. And we just find what works in our house is that if there's a place to put them. So I also use a basket. So all our business receipts go into a basket, all crumpled up, I'll fold it, but they go in there, and then I can deal with them. I can file them, or I can process them, or I can throw them out, but they're there so that you can have them.
At tax time. So everything in one place, and you know where to put it. And you're not talking about like a micro system of this receipt goes in this file folder and this receipt goes in that folder or whatnot.
It doesn't have to be, no, not at all.
Because that can be really stressful too. Like if you have a system that's too complicated, you're just not going to do it.
You're right. You're not going to follow through.
You're not going to do it.
And it's going to get lost and shoved in a drawer, or your bin is going to be empty by the end of the year.
Yeah, and you're not going to have anything. So I love that plastic bag system. I brought mine too. So mine, we have a filing cabinet in the basement, and so I do use file folders, and it's just like, this is an old one that I brought, so it says tax 2017. So I just shove everything into this one file folder, and I have business expenses, so I just grabbed an old beat up envelope, and all of anything that's related to my personal business goes inside of that envelope, not categorized or anything, but it's all in one spot.
Yeah,
so it's
that's the main trick.
Super easy. Yeah, it's just such really good advice. So mileage. Do you guys keep track mileage for your business? Do you have a system for tracking mileage?
Well, we have a company car, so the mileage is legitimately on that one. But lots of people have their personal car that they're using to run their business. So there is a clear deduction that can be used for that. So the best way I found is most people have just a little scrapbook notebook in their car.
Yeah.
And they're jotting down where they're going. They may not even track the actual perfect.
Yeah.
So that's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
And you might not be tracking where your actual kilometers, 323 kilometers to the city or whatever, but went to the city, met with this client, or had to do this Costco run to get supplies. And you mark the date down. You can do the Google Maps thing and get all the kilometers later
afterwards,
on.
so you don't even have to do
jot it down so you don't forget
Yeah,
it.
so I try to, for us, I try to reset the odometer every time for the trip, right? And then and so in the car, I just have this really grungy folder, which I bought at Dollarama. It has a pen in the bottom. And I have a little tiny notebook, again, Dollarama, and I write down the mileage of the car at the beginning of the year.
Okay.
And I write down all the places that I go with the mileage there.
Yeah.
And keep that in. And anytime I have gas receipts,
Yeah.
they get shoved into that folder too, which is kept right in the car. So
Right. So why do you put the beginning mileage? The beginning
well,
of the
just
year?
to show how much, I guess, I don't know why I do that.
Okay.
I think somebody told me to do that.
So you got to do that at the beginning, and you got to do it at the end, because then you can determine of all your car expenses for the year what proportion you can take as well for business. So if
that's why I do it.
I
knew I did it for a
you've
reason.
logged all your business kilometers, that's a proportion of your total. Then you can take your proportion of your expenses. There's also a per kilometer rate. That's another method, but you still need to know what ratio of business to personal kilometers.
So I'm doing it right. I knew I was doing it for a reason. But
So
even if I didn't remember.
The starting point is really good.
Yeah.
Some people know based on when they take it in for maintenance and that sort of thing. But recording what's business versus what's personal is beneficial for sure.
Awesome. Okay, so another system that we have too, this is for the last resort for our home organizing. If we have to do any kilometer, Jen has made us up these charts, keeping the car as well with our date and the mileage and where we were going and why. So that's all kept in the car as well. So we have be able to keep records for the car. So that's great too.
Another thing with mileage is there are lots of apps now. And if you are really techie, they're not complicated, but they can read from a GPS. You just push start, and it's going to start logging that based on your GPS location, and then you hit end, and
it tracks your
it's
mileage.
Track your mileage for you.
Does it store it in the app?
Yes, it does.
Oh, that is great.
So more and more people are starting to use that.
Do you know the name of one of those apps off the top of your head?
I don't know.
That's something you can Google.
Just Google mileage app. Mileage calculator.
Did not even know. Okay.
Mileage log probably is your best one.
Yeah.
And it's just going to keep it there all year. I have clients, they just bring that summary in at the end of the year, and
super easy.
Yeah, because the GPS is tracking those, or you can do exactly what you were doing in your notebook.
Mine's old school.
There's always options.
Need to get into the app options of doing that. The other thing too, we talked a little bit too, is about using Excel. I know because I work from home, I can track some of the phone bills and the internet bills and things like that. So I do have an Excel spreadsheet that I write down our monthly bills as well. And every time I pay a bill, I just drop it into that Excel spreadsheet. So I just have it
again. To take it even a notch higher,
please.
I allow software to do all my work whenever I can.
Awesome.
So if we just flip over to the small business side right now. If you are very diligent with a small business bank account and maybe a small business visa, so they might not be business visas or business bank accounts, but you have a separate account that you do all your transactions through.
Yep.
What now allows, the technology allows you to do, I'll just use QuickBooks Online because that's the one we're very, most of our clients are using from a small business point of view. All of those bank transactions feed right into your software. So
you can hook them up together.
Link them up. You can do it with your personal stuff too, and it tracks all of your expenses that are coming through your bank. You allocate them to where you want them to be, and the program is so user friendly. You don't need to be an accountant. Once you have it set up right, it really can save you a lot of time. I use it not only for my business but for my personal stuff.
So what's the name of the software again?
QuickBooks Online is the one we really push.
Okay.
There are other options, not push.
Is that one you pay for to use?
You do have to pay
but it sounds like it's worth it.
Yeah, it does. Especially
everything for you.
It can grow with your business, so it can be very, very small and basic, or it can handle payroll and lots of different complications. Wow. But there are other ones out there. I believe Wave is free.
I've used that before.
And Quicken is kind of the old school QuickBooks from a personal side of things. Lots of good ones out there. It allows people to stay on track, and I don't think people realize where they're spending their money until they start tracking it.
That could be scary.
So usually sometimes the software and start, even allocating for a few months allows you to create a budget and The Excel spreadsheet does the same thing. There's just a bit more of a manual versus a more
and an
automated.
intentionality that I have to remember to do it too.
That's right.
Right.
Yeah.
So I like that idea of not having to.
Lots of good.
Yeah, it just
lots
has
of
to
good
do
options.
it naturally. So,
Yeah.
And you were saying too that you have a few forms and templates on your
Yeah.
website. That's TC
So
Jones.
most of our clients, they know they need to collect all their receipts and they know they have to total them, but they're not really sure what is valid and what's not and what can they deduct personally and or from because they have a small business. So what we do with all our clients is beginning of tax season, probably February, all our clients that have been at our office last year would get a tax checklist. So whether you're a small business or not, so you're getting a checklist to say, did you consider this? Do you have any RSPs? Did you put any money away in for your kids' RESPs? Like there's
reminders, things that you don't necessarily
Did you
think
have
on top of
medical
mind.
appointments? Did you go to Halifax? Did you have to travel? What were those trips? So a checklist is very valuable just to kind of, it doesn't have to be complex with all the tax laws, but these are the scenarios that we see regularly. Have you considered these in your story for last year? From a small business point of view, what we've done is put quite a few forms on our website.
So what's the link to your website?
tcjones.ca, and under the services number, right, if you scroll right down to the bottom, if you click on services, there's some client resources, and there is a schedule form you could fill out, and it shows you what typical small business self-employment categories would be, deductible. There's a schedule there for your rental. If you have a condo, Airbnb, or a cottage that you rent out, some of the like a summary there that you can put together. Self-employment vehicle expenses, so categorizing all of those car expenses. And if you run your business from your home, there's a home office. So it gives you a list there of some of the totals that you can put together. Because the more work you do to put these totals together for your accountant, the more complete the picture will be. Yeah. But the more time savings it will be for your accountant to put them
That's
together.
fabulous. So all of these forms and things, Carrie, are available to anybody.
Yes. Yep. So go on and use
not
them.
even clients of yours.
Yeah,
You can
go
just
on
go
and
on
use
your
them
site.
and pull them off, and it will give you that list and that starting point rather than having to go on CRA's website and try to find the same thing.
Right.
It's very simple. It's a simple form, and our clients would usually go on there and just manually enter them out, print them off, manually enter, bring them in with their stuff, and
you've got all the information right there. And some of that stuff would, like I saw there's this sheet there you can write in the measurements of your office and things. That would be like consistent from year to year, usually.
Unless you need it more branch space.
So that's tcjones.ca, and you can get all of those forms to help you get organized. So we are now, April, I think we're April 12th or something. So the deadline's coming up soon. So is that too late, and then Carrie, to come to like TC Jones, for example, to get your taxes done for this year?
We're doing our best to keep on top of all of them, as most offices at this time of year will be. We never want to disappoint clients, and we really want to make sure that we can get things done. But the sooner you bring them in, the better. We'll continue to do tax returns in May and June for sure. There'll be CRA interest and penalties sometimes that come into play there when people just can't make that happen. But the earlier you bring it in the season, the better. And so sooner than later.
So like all this information that we're giving you today, I know this is April 12th. It's probably not going to be any help for you.
There are people that have it on their radar for this weekend. This is what they're going to
do. We're going to get organized.
We're going to get organized this weekend because my accountant's waiting.
Yes. So, but we want you to take all of this information that we're talking about today and put it into practice so that come tax season next year,
it's going to be a breeze.
It's going to be a breeze because we're going to use online tools. We're going to use Ziploc bags or file folders or baskets. So I guess the main takeaway for me too is like have a place to put everything. And when you're emptying your wallet or when you're emptying your purse, you're just going to put it right there.
I think what people forget about is if you don't have a place to put, I just think about when someone comes to my door canvassing and I give a donation and I get the little handwritten slip.
What do you do with it?
It gets put on the counter in the junk drawer, and then 3 years later I find it and I haven't taken the deduction for it. So having that and slipping it right into that Ziploc bag immediately allows for 9 months down the road, 14 months down the road, you're ready and you have that exactly where you need it to.
So have it somewhere it's kind of accessible to, that you're not having to
don't make it complicated. Don't tuck it in the back of your closet. Have it nice and handy, and
you're ready to go.
Yeah.
Awesome. Any last things? I'm trying to think about all the things we were talking about before we got on camera. I think that we covered everything, didn't we? So, if you, don't make it too complicated. If you're not sure, keep it. And everybody's situation is different. So ask, find an accountant.
Obviously, there are tax laws that things fit in a certain box in general, but there are always scenarios and gray areas that essentially the rule is from a small business point of view. If it is enabling you to earn income, it's a legitimate business expense.
Right. Yeah, that's the
So
other
I
thing.
I kind of look at it. Would you have bought this? Would you have paid for this expense if you weren't running the business? Maybe you would have. But is it now you bought the sewing machine, you upgrade it, now you can add that to your repertoire of sewing experience and the services that you offer? Well, therefore, it's a legitimate business expense. The line is gray when people cross over between hobby and business.
Right.
And so,
right.
But when you think, is this helping me earn income? Would I have bought this without having the business? It kind of helps clarify whether or not you can deduct it.
That's a really good question to ask for yourself to know whether what to keep or not. So that is so awesome. Yeah. Thank you so much, Carrie, for stepping out of your comfort zone and coming on air with me too, and giving us this really great information. I just love it. I love the fact to say that Carrie's an accountant and she's using Ziploc bags to keep all of her information. I think that is fantastic. Just shows you it doesn't have to be complicated, and keep it simple. Keep yourself organized. So speaking of organization, if you do need any help getting organized or cleaning up your office, we've done a few office redos and helping people get organized in their office, and it's so much fun.
I have too.
I love it. I love paperwork and I love filing systems. I don't know, it just called me crazy, type A. But so if you do need help with your home office or getting yourself organized, we're at yourlastresort.ca, and we're happy to come and help you with any of that. So I also just wanted to say, tune in next week. I think I'm going to do the video on Thursday because next Friday is Good Friday. So I'm going to be actually doing a video on some online tools and ways to help you get organized for when you're doing events or even family things like that. So some of the things that I use for that. So that will be happening next Thursday. So tune in, and we will see you next week. So again, thank you so much to Carrie Jones from TC Jones, located in Colebrook in what do we call it? The formerly known as Leon's Loop.
Yeah. Right off the highway.
Right off the highway in Colebrook. So you come and find them too for any of your accounting or tax questions. And thank you very much, and we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.